Bum, ba-ba-dum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gray Goes West YouTube channel Fireside series. I have been trying to think of something fun, unique, different to do on this YouTube channel. Something that keeps you all in the loop, up to date on everything going on with me. Let's pause that because this music is epic, but wow, is it distracting. Let's just hold on it for a second. Hang on. And oh god, it just doesn't get better than Skyrim music. Okay. So, this is going to be the Fireside series, where basically we explore adventure in Skyrim on the screen. You're not really going to see my face, that way I don't have to do so much extra work in the background. And we are going to talk about one subject or another related to my Peace Corps service. Honestly, where I hope that this goes is that eventually you all send me some questions and we can do a little Q&A during this series. So I consider doing this live, but this is already kind of a last-minute harebrained idea, as I often do. So I thought, okay, Grayson, how about a recorded video first? You make a list of things you want to talk about, and then if people actually watch this, maybe you can go live, maybe you can bring on some friends. We will see how it goes. So as you can see, myself and Mr. Asher Blaine here are in the depths of Bleak Falls Barrow. Okay, let's see if Big Poppy Grayson Black can balance his ADHD and both play this game and get through this list. Alright, so no more standing around. Oh, I have a level. Oh, okay, so level up available. One thing I want to notate. When the anniversary series of Skyrim, this is already the special edition, when the anniversary series came out, they released survival mode. So you're going to notice that I'm playing in survival mode. A couple things that means is I can only level up when I sleep properly, I can get fatigued, and I can get hungry, and I can be cold and hot. So my hunger is not on the screen right now. I think it's displayed by my stamina bar over on the right, and my fatigue is displayed on the left in my... I think that's my magicka bar. God, I hope so. It's going to be embarrassing. But essentially, the more fatigued or the more hungry you get, it lessens the top amount of those two bars, your mana bar or your health bar. Okay? So, you also can't fast travel. You have carrying capacity limitations. Really, it's a pain, but I wanted to challenge myself and kind of push myself to not do this modded, blah blah blah, make it a little bit more longer lasting of a playthrough. Anyways, also, cheers to you guys, if you know what I'm saying. Let's keep this fun. Alright, let's get into this thing. I'm going to walk down here and remind myself what I'm doing first. You can see a few Draugr dead on the floor here. Sorry I didn't decide to do this when I first started the game. I am now in Bleak Falls Barrow. I've already, of course, escaped Helgen, which is the first part, and then I've been to Whiterun. So for those of you all that don't know, I'm sorry, but I think you'll catch up pretty quickly as to what's going on. So, oh yeah. So I am pretty weak. Oh god. I really stopped before I got to this. Alright. So, this is going to be comical. The topic of what we're going to be talking about is 10 things that I've learned during my Peace Corps service so far. And I think the first thing, which is not going to help me in this situation... Why does it look like it's... No, it's definitely there. Oh, I really suck at these. I should have played more Tomb Raider as a kid. Ah! Ooh! Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. the first thing I would say that I've learned is that Peace Corps gives you an insane amount of personal growth. Okay? Now, just pause with that thought. You guys let that sink in as if it's something really revolutionary that I've just said. And, okay. So, guys, my ADHD is too strong. Hang on. And that's the one. Okay. Let's just go ahead and... Okay. So I would say that something that I say over and over and over again, especially with my best friends, shout out Josh and Ann, is every time we're faced with a challenge, because of the challenges that you've already faced, because of the experiences that you've already had, it really is just like another opportunity to say, wow. Just like, look how far we've come. From the person that we came in as to the person that we are now. You are a different person. And it's, I think the craziest thing about it, and the reason it's so hard to explain, is because it's one thing to finish something, to finish a really, key point in your life, and to look back and say, wow, I can really see the growth. But Peace Corps is a 2-year commitment. So much is happening. From the personal fun stuff to the professional work stuff, you're overcoming challenge after challenge. You're being pushed, you're being disappointed, you're proud of yourself for some accomplishments. And again, you face failures and you're disappointed in yourself for those failures. But you have no choice but to learn from it. And I think that in that way, the personal growth is so real. Oh boy. In that way, the personal growth is so relevant and in your face that you can get just 3 months down the road, or even less than that, and you can say, wow, I just got through this really challenging event, or I was off with my friends for a week. You get done with that, you get back in your safe space, and you think, holy crap, I can really feel how much I've grown. And that's been the biggest, that is the reason that if I become a recruiter, or if I work internationally, international outreach, whatever it might be, I will encourage people to have cross-cultural experiences, to have international experiences, but I will especially encourage American citizens to go into Peace Corps at some point in their life, specifically early. I do think that my life led me here to be prepared at this point, to be in the right headspace at this point in my life to do it, but I do have a little bit of that thought of, I wish I could have been ready earlier. But I would encourage everyone just to do it, because you learn so much about the world, about just things that you never would have thought could happen, ways of thinking that you never would have thought possible, etc., on the outside. But on the inside, internally, you learn so much about yourself. Alright, let's pause that thought before I keep rambling. Alright, now oh, there's my boy. Ah! Oh! Killed him! Oh, I'm an idiot! Hey, I got it! Oh, he didn't catch fire! And he's gonna die, it's okay. That was soft to it. Awful start. Alright, I got a Q. I gotta get this guy out. Oh my god. Did he take any damage, dude? Oh, he did. He took a lot of damage. Okay, I think he was. Ah! Oh, did he reactivate that? What a freaking ass, dude. Are you kidding me? Holy... What? Dude, it took me so long to get through that. Now I have to do it again. He really paused to pull that chain. I think it reset. Or maybe he just freaking took the damage, dude. Alright. This way. This way. I will die if I... Oh, actually. Okay, there we go. We got saved during this thing, dude. It's insane. Alright. Let's let it pass, Oh, okay. Let it pass here, we're gonna let it pass here, we're gonna let it pass... Oh, I got too close. Oh! Oh! You were too close, you little stinker, you little silly... Anyways, number one thing that I've learned, personal growth is crazy. I've never done anything else in my life that has forced me to reflect to this degree that has forced me to face head on my accomplishments and my failures and figure out how I can move forward from both of them. I think, honestly, an equal or a close second personal growth experience has been the loss of my dad. My dad passing away literally 1 year before I came to Peace Corps. And that's something I've thought about a lot. You know, I went from one insanely personal growth experience that, you know, doesn't really have any positives. It's pretty much a negative thing to lose one of your parents. I went from that experience and only having 1 year to really process that and to grieve. That's not enough time. But I felt like I was ready to come into Peace Corps, and I don't regret it. I'm glad that I did, but that's another life-changing experience. I mean, it's like I already felt like a fish out of water in my own head, trying to deal with the loss of my dad and the conflict we had before, and how we'd improved on our relationship right before it happened, and the fact that it was COVID, and there's just so many things. And then to literally be a fish out of water in Peace Corps, to be, not to put a negative spin on it, but to be stripped away from your family, to be stripped away from everything that's familiar. I've met people that I love here with all my heart. And I've met mentors that will be mentors for the rest of my life. And friends that I hope stay my best friends for the rest of my life. But still, I was pulled out of my home situation in a time where familiarity is really what I needed to be able to heal. So that was a big deal for me. And still, I would say that Peace Corps has given me just as much personal growth or more as that. And, you know, maybe a little bit of that is I had to finish growing out of that and grieving and processing. But then I was doing so in the middle of an already all-encompassing growth experience. So, to put a pin in it, Peace Corps forces you to grow. You will grow or you will go. Because it forces you into change. You have to accept that change is the only thing that you can count on. Change is inevitable. And the only thing that you know is that you really don't know anything. That's some advice that someone gave to me early on, a fellow Peace Corps volunteer who had other international work. The advice was, again, the only thing you can be sure of is that you know nothing. And that's something that we're going to talk about later. Okay, so I think it's finally time to move on to number 2. Let's take another slurp of our lovely local beverage. Cheers to all of you all. Let's get a little bit further into Bleak Falls here before we go on to number 2. Alright, where's the next homie at? I gotta remember to loot these guys. It just has to keep reminding me that wait. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, yes. Alright, here we go. We're gonna do this smart. We're gonna do it smart this time. I'm really not that smart, like I said, when it comes to video games. That was really stupid. That was a dumb thing to do. What I do know... See, I'm not smart, really dumb. Blah! He's gonna kill me. There's no way I'm even gonna be able to block that. Yep. Holy cow, dude. I suck and this version is hard. Okay. God, so much of this dungeon gives you an advantage for stealth too, and I did not choose the stealth class. Alright, let's see. I still think I want to go with that method. I wonder if I can hit this, then hit him. No, I think we can do it. First of all, I'm going to do that. Shoot him in the head. Yes, yes, yes! Got both of them. Got both of them. Oh! Okay, the problem is I think there's more Draugr in there that didn't get... Yep. Oh, is that the enemy music? Oh my god, okay. I think there's more. We hit with a little F5 action since that's going to be a theme. Thank God you can hit 2 buttons at once. Alright, I'm going to loot him in a second. I think there's more. Yep, there they are. Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed. I missed. It's not good. Hey, we gotta run. We gotta run, gotta run, gotta run, gotta run. Oh, come on. Okay, he's dead. He's dead. We got one down. We got one down. We're gonna F5 it because why not? I am gonna go right here, deactivate that in case I have to go back. Here comes this fool. Alright, call me Obi-Wan. Oh god, he's gonna kill me. Son of a... Holy cow, dude. Oh my gosh. Alright. So, point number 1 is personal growth. It really is unbelievable. It's unmatched. You know, hopefully I have many experiences in my future, but so far I have not had as much personal growth as I have in Peace Corps. From the fact that you're in another culture, from the fact that you're in another language, to the fact that you're in those 2 situations for 2 years straight, you're trying to work, you're trying to apply your profession, you're being challenged by brilliant staff and Peace Corps workers and local mentors, and you're being challenged by some of the most talented people around our country, your other fellow volunteers that also were chosen to come here and be Peace Corps members out of hundreds of applications. You're just learning so much every single day. Personal growth is insane. I would say the next thing, and these basically the first 5 are going to be kind of personal. The second 5 are going to be more about cultural struggles and things to keep in mind as you try to fit in and go through your day-to-day. These first 5 are more personal. And I think, so I talked earlier about how you either grow or you go. So personal growth is essentially baked in. Almost everyone at the Peace Corps staff level understands that whether you like it or not, a Peace Corps experience is just as much about that personal growth as it is about the actual impact that you make at site. Because your single impact is not meant to be life-changing. This is another thing that people don't like, and this is going to kind of bring us into the fact that it's a grind. You, as a Peace Corps volunteer, are really a cog in the overall mechanism of longer-term change. The program manager, the Peace Corps post, etc., has ideas that they have agreed upon with the locals based on a local need. They've collaborated on a 1-year plan, 5-year plan, for the most part. That's how it should be. And you are a small piece of that. Now, it doesn't matter if you're there only to build relationships, or if you come in with some collaborations already ongoing and you're really able to be productive with a lot of events. You are still just a small piece of what the local staff members, like the program managers and etc., and the local supervisors and politicians and everyone at your site, you are just a small piece of what they are trying to accomplish. Whether that is civic engagement of youth, whether that is to get the youth more active and educated on important issues that that community is struggling with, whether that is reef conservation or other wildlife or biological conservation that an environmental volunteer might work on, or whether it's English education or anything else. You are a small piece. And that gets to number 2, which is that Peace Corps is a grind. Peace Corps is really not a race. So I would say, like, in that way, you're not going to get instant gratification. And I paused there because I wanted to find my note, but essentially, especially in fields that are hyper-technical, I do feel like social workers like myself have a little bit of an advantage here, because we are used to understanding that the work we do is meant to impact one life or two lives, or it's meant to impact the immediate issue or need that we have right in front of us. We understand that homelessness, etc., drug use, poverty, blah, 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 whatever it is, us as single social workers are not going to solve that problem. It is an ongoing problem that we have to chip away at, and we have to gain satisfaction from making a difference in one life that's right in front of us on that day, or a series of lives that are on our case management files, or are in our case management system. That is what keeps us going. But I've found that a lot of the more technical fields will come into Peace Corps and they really want to make a difference. They want to do something, and it's understandable to want to make a difference, but I guess the better way to say that is they want to accomplish something measurable. They want measurable change. They want to know that they were able to do it. And that's just not the situation that you walk into most times in Peace Corps. Bro, this guy, why is this moving so fast? I'm getting kind of dizzy just watching it. But you don't get to control the situation that you walk into. You don't get to control where your community's at. You don't get to control where your work partners are at. You don't get to control where your politicians are at. You don't get to control where your post is at. You don't get to control where your support system's at. Sometimes you don't even get to control aspects of your own life. How much time you're able to dedicate to your local language. How much experience you actually have in the assignment that they felt was best for you and the placement that they felt was best for you. So really, you have to retrain your mind to meet the situation where it is. And it's kind of one of those things where, in like a job, when they have a certain way that they want things done, based on the specific needs of that job, they prefer people who don't have as much experience to come in because they can learn fresh. Whereas a veteran who thinks that they know everything that there is to know about how to do this job will be more stubborn and resistant to learning the way that that specific job needs that thing done. And it's the same situation. Every municipality is different, even within the sector. Even with two people that have the same backgrounds and expertise, two different sides are going to provide two different challenges, and the volunteer really has to meet those challenges where they are. And because of all of those factors, it makes Peace Corps a grind, not a race. It's more of a marathon. Just to get up in the morning and be able to go to work sometimes, to be able to exist there, to be able to do your best, to get through the day, make your workout, or just make it home in the rain, that is enough. Because there are so many layers to what you are quote-unquote doing in Peace Corps that if you try to make it a race, you're gonna burn out. And if you come to Peace Corps expecting it to be a race, expecting it to be a competition, expecting to hit the ground running and whip everybody into shape and force your action plan and force your objectives and force your event and start to restructure the whole program and all this stuff, people are going to stop supporting you and it's all going to come crashing down because you are coming in with your American predetermined mindset. You are not coming in with a culturally aware mindset that is prepared to meet this community where they are. And what that means a lot of times is wildly adjusting your own expectations to the point that it feels like you're accomplishing nothing because not a lot of the things that you're actually doing were in that predetermined list you had of what's going to make you feel accomplished. But really, just like we said, a lot of it's about personal growth, and a lot of it's about personal growth, and that makes it a grind. That's because some days you have to get up, you really don't have anything to do, everyone's too busy for you, none of the people that you need to meet with are actually being collaborative, blah blah blah. And in those moments, you have to shift your mindset into, okay, this is one of those times where it's about personal growth. How do I focus back in on myself? And how do I make my full day experience from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed about me accomplishing my own personal goals and pushing myself to grow and to be grounded in this experience. And that's when, just to get up, to take your local style bath, whatever that looks like, eat your local style breakfast, walk to work, whether it's in the rain or the blazing dry heat or whatever your situation is, maybe in your clothes that kind of half smell good because you're having to rewear them, or they smell soured because they were dried on a line, whatever. Getting to work, maybe you have aircon, maybe you don't, so maybe you're sweating all day at work in your Peace Corps polo, and you get off work and you somehow have the motivation to still go to the gym or still go to the track, or maybe just your walk all the way from work back to your home is enough exercise. By the time you get home, you wash yourself off, you make some dinner, you get ready for bed, and some days in Peace Corps you have to pat yourself on the back just for doing that. There are going to be days when you are going to feel so accomplished, you're going to be so stressed out, and you're going to get to the end of where all that stress leads, and it's going to happen. Whether it's a full success or whether it just happens, you're still going to be able to feel accomplished. But there are going to be some days where you absolutely don't want to be there anymore. Something's got you thinking of home, something's reminding you of how things used to be, someone's getting on your nerves more often than not, maybe you're sick, whatever it is, maybe you're isolated for some reason, and you're going to want to leave. And you're going to have to find those personal growth opportunities, those personal little things that are keeping you sticking around to be able to make it through the grind of Peace Corps, because you're not always going to have those hard, measurable objectives to make you feel accomplished. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, number one, personal growth. Number two, Peace Corps is a grind. If you're considering Peace Corps, you should prepare for that. And if you're in Peace Corps, I encourage you to remember that and try and keep yourself grounded. I have not accomplished that much, but seems like a good place to pause, maybe get some leeway, since we're only on number 3. I really don't feel like I'm going to have to spend as much time on this one, because between all of the challenging personal growth and the fact that this is a grind and you're not going to constantly have instant gratification, I feel like number 3 goes without saying. And that is that Peace Corps is really not for everyone. So, first and foremost, I think it's important to know that everyone, like we said, comes into Peace Corps with different expectations, different levels of flexibility, different levels of open-mindedness. Wow, there's a really loud motorcycle outside. Don't know if you guys can hear that. What is the Peace Corps word that I'm looking for? Resilience. Everyone comes into Peace Corps with different levels of resiliency. Sometimes it's based on age, sometimes it's based on education. Almost always, it's just simply based on life experience, a little bit based on whether you're more introverted or more extroverted. That will kind of determine how easy of a time you're going to have, but we're actually going to talk more about that later. But, long story short, everyone comes into Peace Corps as a different person, and then all of those different people are met with very different 2-year personal site working situations. Absolutely, whether it's within the same sector, whether it's within the same province or state, whether it's within the same municipality or community, no 2 Peace Corps service term is created equal. Every Peace Corps member has to deal with different objectives as far as their work plan goes. They have to deal with different levels of support and different personalities coming from their work partner. And then when you grow beyond the sector and etc., you get into even more differences in expectations, blah blah blah, differences in accountability, with your program managers, whatever it may be, no Peace Corps member, no Peace Corps term, there we go, is created the same, even if you're literally in the same community as your fellow Peace Corps member. Some of my best friends in Peace Corps that started out very strong have made the decision that they just could not do it because of personal health changes. As you go across a 2-year period, your body changes a lot, another thing we're going to talk about. Or whether it has to do with just what you thought this was going to be versus what this actually is. For a myriad of reasons, your expectations are not only not met, but you become disappointed. And all of those personal challenges that you face are not worth the feeling of accomplishment that you're getting, which is low. Essentially, you're not getting much of a sense of accomplishment, and it just doesn't equal out. It essentially equates to you being miserable all the time. Now, those are strong words, and that's why I say it's not for everyone. An incredibly resilient person, or sometimes even an incredibly stubborn person, can make it through Peace Corps even in a very, very hard site, very hard situation, not a lot of support. But there are a number of certain things that you have to be open to, from asking a lot of questions to being annoying. Essentially, to wrap those both into one, it's almost essential that you're a good communicator. But I think it's best if we actually talk about that in a separate video, because getting into personal things that you can do, because at the end of the day, we are the only thing that we can control, how we react and what actions we take. Getting into things that you can do to overcome challenges in service, I think that I could definitely make an entire other video about that, and maybe even bring on some other volunteers that have thoughts and comments. Because, again, no Peace Corps service is created equal. Challenges that I face, things that I think have helped me, they've probably tried and it's not helped them. Or they have different traits, whether it's physical traits, personality traits that have created certain other challenges, unexpected challenges for them, and they've had to find different and even more unique ways to get over those things. So let's go 1, 2, and 3 here. Number 1, crazy amount of personal growth that you go through, inevitable amount of personal growth. Number 2, Peace Corps is a grind. It's a marathon, not a race, and sometimes that's a surprise for people. And then number 3, Peace Corps is not for everyone. Kind of wrapping those first two together to make the point that everyone can do Peace Corps, but Peace Corps is not for everyone. You really need to research it, look into it, look into the realities of it, I'll say it like that, and ask yourself whether you're really ready to do this thing, because 2 years is a long time, guys. 2 years with a possible 1-year extension even. I mean, for me, going from 30 to I'll be in my mid-30s by the time I get out of this thing. That's a good portion of your life. You are changing, and for some people, that's not where they want to spend 3 years of their life, 2 to 3 years of their life. Again with these. Oh, I remember this place. There's like 60 guys in here. There's no way, dude. There's no way I survive this. Just no way. Alright. Let's talk about number 4. Comparison is the enemy of joy. Now, this is just a general quote that I heard recently, but it's really been helping me out in a lot of the insecurities that I brought with me, and that decide to rear their head at different times, or so far have reared their head at different times throughout my service. Like I said earlier, you work with so many incredible people, that are accepted to come here out of hundreds of applications. They come from all over the United States. They come from all these different microcultures. They believe differently, they think differently, they speak differently. Sometimes they look different than you do. And not only that, but they also end up with different assignments than you have. You already pick up on things that they're better at than you, and probably start to kind of ignore the things that maybe they're a little worse at than you. And then you see all the accomplishments that they make, and it's just the perfect storm for everyday comparison, even with your best friends. But I think it's so important to remember that comparison is the enemy of joy. Now, the meaning behind this, I think, is that when you compare yourself to other people, you are looking at a totally different person, like we just said, a totally different situation, blah, blah, blah. But you're ignoring all that, and you're comparing whatever it is that they're doing to your own situation, and you're thinking, man, I should be able to accomplish those things. Man, I should be able to do those things, or I should be working harder, or why didn't I think of that, or I should be thinking harder about these things, whatever it is. Now, I think that that's not to say that you should just blindly and bullheadedly go forward with the thoughts that you have or the things that you think are the right thing to do, especially in Peace Corps. You have to consider a lot of different cultural factors, etc., before you go forward. But to compare yourself to someone else, or to let the actions of someone else make you feel less than, that is going to steal your own personal joy away from you. And it keeps you focused not on what you should be focused on. It keeps you focused on someone else. And it's a lot easier to look at the objective actions of someone else from afar and compare yourself to those actions that you observe than it is to put a magnifying glass on the actions that you're actually accomplishing, and both be critical if you must, really find ways to improve, but also, maybe the hardest thing of all is to find accomplishment in the small things that you are completing, to give yourself a pat on the back for even the small things. Like we said, personal growth is huge. It's not a grind, and it's not for everyone. All those things lend towards the fact that Peace Corps is a very personal experience. And sometimes you have to look at the accomplishments that you've made, and the main ones that you will have made are personal. And you should be proud of the fact that you have come so far personally, even if you look and you think, you know what, because of all these factors, the work I've done here has not been huge. Especially if you compare back to maybe the work you were doing in the United States. But personally, if you are still in Peace Corps, you could not convince me that you've not made a lot of growth personally. If you are still serving, then you have grown. And on those days when you get up and the grind is too much and you're feeling like it's not for you anymore, and you're comparing yourself to the Instagram posts of someone else talking about this event or this travel or whatsoever, that is when you have to turn back to that personal growth and be proud of yourself for doing what you have done. Because that is enough. Peace Corps is just as much of a personal experience as it is a professional experience. Professional looks great on a resume. Don't ever let anybody convince you that Peace Corps does not look good, because you are going to make connections that you carry with you for the rest of your life. But the personal growth, the personal experience is just as important when it comes to Peace Corps. So, let's go through these, because these first four are the core to the personal things that I've learned. Number 1, personal growth. Number 2, Peace Corps is a grind. Number 3, Peace Corps is simply not for everyone, and that's okay. Number 4, comparison is the thief of joy when it comes to your Peace Corps experience. Alright. Holy cannoli, I'm in such a bad way. What is that? Oh! There is indeed someone else in there. Holy cannoli! Oh my gosh. I feel like I need to run past this freaking goober, but I'm afraid there's gonna be like 15 more, dude. What else can I do? I've wasted all those freaking... I know what I can do. Alright. Alright, let's queue this thing up. Let's queue this up. Where's it at? Right here. I forget how this works. Do I just... Oh! Oh, shit. Okay. Alright, let's try not to die here. Being an idiot. Oh, alright, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Holy crap. Where'd he at? Where'd he go, dude? Alright, I'm shook. Alright, I gotta... First of all, can't handle it anymore. We got a quick save. Okay. As the kids in Stranger Things showed us, and as some of us already knew before because we're Dungeons and Dragons players, you know what I'm saying, Fireball is in fact a little bit OP. So, as far as the first 5 of my top 10 so far, things that I've learned in Peace Corps, number 5 is a little bit more of a personal opinion. But for me, number 5 is that normalizing leads to a general sense of dissatisfaction. And this is something that I've had to think about a lot, and really trying to do some personal exploration and digging down into why sometimes when things are going right, sometimes when I'm on my grind, when I have my schedule right, I'm talking to my friends, everything seems to be going right, I still just don't feel satisfied, and I get a little bit into like depresso mode. And for me, I think at least a part of that, a piece of that, is the fact that it can be so easy after a year and a half, approaching 2 years of service, to normalize the situation that you're in. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that we are living as Peace Corps members in situations that people live with every single day. But it is a little bit different for us, right? Because we lived a completely different life before, and we are dedicating at least 2 years of our lives to live an arguably harder life, no matter what country you're in. And I fully acknowledge that I'm in one of the quote-unquote easiest Peace Corps service posts to do Peace Corps at the Philippines. But 2 years of being out of your element, away from everything that you knew, away from maybe every single thing that you used to do to make yourself feel comfortable, to feel happy, all of your comfort food, all your comfort drinks, all your comfort time with friends, all your comfort time with family, all your hobbies that you used to love doing. It really is an entire world change. And for me at least, when I came into Peace Corps, I saw it as an adventure. I saw it as a challenge. I saw it as something to push through. And this is going to kind of get back to the fact that you learn Peace Corps is a grind. you can't feel like that all the time. You can't have 100% motivation all the time. You can't feel headstrong and competitive and willing every single day to face all of these challenges with all of your willpower. It's just not going to happen that way. It is a grind. And I think the more Peace Corps quote unquote grinds you down and you accept the fact that it's a grind, the more you can start to normalize everything to make it feel a little bit more numb, so that the day-to-day annoyances, the day-to-day uncomfortability, all that stuff doesn't affect you as much. But I do also think that deep, maybe even deep in your psyche, the more you normalize your situation in that way, the more it kind of does make you a little bit depressed. And by depressed, I mean no matter what is happening within your work or within your personal life, as far as your life at Peace Corps Post goes, you feel this general malaise of not being happy. And I don't want to say this to scare people, because for me it's a back and forth. I have these tactics, these things that I've learned, whether it's taking myself out to eat, relying on my favorite coffee, either getting it or making it, or talking to friends. I have all these methods that I use to kind of knock myself or shake myself out of that state of mind. And I'll give one away right now. Again, this is about you normalizing your situation or your new reality, your life as a Peace Corps member. And it kind of feeling inescapable, because in a way it is inescapable. But it no longer feels like a challenge. It no longer feels temporary in your mind anymore. It feels like life. It is this struggle. And in a way, that's the point of Peace Corps, is for you to live and to go through what some of the people that live here locally every single day go through. But it can put you in a bad place. It can put you in a dark place. So for me, I do things that remind me of home. Number one, hands down, the biggest thing that I've done since year 2, or earlier, is almost every single day that I wake up early enough and that I'm on my normal schedule, I call my mom in the morning. Now, I understand not everybody has a great relationship with their family, not everybody feels supported by their family, and that's a really tough situation. But I would still recommend find someone back in the States that you can talk to at least weekly that makes you feel normal, quote unquote, that puts your headspace back where it was before, back there with them. Ask them what's going on, ask them how things are going, talk about places that you used to love, that feel familiar to you. Dive back deep into the life you were living before, because it's going to remind you that this is temporary. It's going to remind you that those things still exist, and even though you can't have them right now, they're still there, and this is still a hump that you're going to get over. This is still a grind, but it is still a temporary thing that you're going to accomplish, and you're going to be able to look back on, and you're going to be proud of yourself. And because you push through that, you're going to have gained so much life experience, like we talked about, so much personal growth. You're going to understand what it means to stick to something and to switch into grind mode. And you're going to understand that because you learned all these things about yourself, because you came up with these tactics to get over the hump, it's something that you were able to accomplish without comparing yourself to others, without getting down on yourself, without letting it overwhelm you, blah, blah, blah. So again, I think in another video I'm going to talk about some of the tactics that have worked for me. And I keep mentioning it. I really do think in that video, that's a case where I want to bring on some of my friends, because I want them to talk about how they handle things differently. Because even in our personal conversations, what has worked for me, I know would not work for them. And I think those differences in perspective are really important to highlight. So, let's go through these top 5. So again, top 5 things that I've learned personally. Number 1, personal growth. Number 2, Peace Corps is a grind. Number 3, Peace Corps is not for everyone, and that's okay. Number 4, Comparison is the thief of your joy and sense of accomplishment in Peace Corps. And number 5, don't normalize. Normalizing equals deep dissatisfaction. And maybe y'all just call this one, call your mom. Call someone that you love. Talk to them. Allow people that love you to support you, because that's what's going to help get you through this. Okay, so far those are my top 5 personal things that I have learned during my Peace Corps service. Let's take a pause right here, grab another beverage, maybe grab a little snacky poo. I'm going to think through how the heck I'm going to survive this final boss room while also telling you the next 5 things. Peace, love, and happiness. I'll talk to you guys in just a second.